hal ini yang belum pernah kami lakukan sebelumnya.
And we never do this before.
Terutama di sektor Nah, saya tadi mendengar akan minggu lalu mendengar bahwa Uni Global juga akan memiliki beberapa proyek di sektor yang lain,
And I remember that Uni Global have a project in another sector.
Tentu saja kami menyambutnya.
And of course we welcoming the project.
Karena terus terang di Indonesia, mungkin di beberapa negara, sektor kami itu sangat-sangat sulit untuk dirangkul.
And maybe not just in Indonesia, but in another country, our own sector is really hard to organize a big project.
Nah, kita tahu perbankan itu di Indonesia misalnya perbankan itu hampir tidak ada, mereka itu satu bank pun mereka tidak ada tidak hanya satu serikat buruh, tapi terdiri dari beberapa serikat buruh.
In Indonesia, as example, they have few union in one bank, not just one union. It's really hard.
One enterprise, many.
Ya,
Yes.
One enterprise, many. Nah, terutama di sektor security service, security dan cleaning service itu rata-rata upahnya itu di bawah upah minimum rata-rata.
Especially for security services and cleaning service services, their wages is below minimum wages.
Nah, akan tetapi berbeda dengan ISS satu-satunya yang saya lihat ya, yang mungkin comply terhadap semua aturan.
But only DSS that complete all of the standards.
Nah, kalaupun ada case itu adalah normalnya. Kalaupun ada kasus-kasus itu normal.
If there is any case, it's just normal.
Nah, di proyek tahun depan kami akan merekrut beberapa target yang multinasional corporate.
In the next project, in next year, we will try to recruit and organize multinational level.
Nah, jadi mungkin itu yang bisa saya sampaikan. Sekali lagi, selamat datang Brother Rans. Mungkin di event-event yang lain, Anda sangat kami tunggu kehadiran Anda di sini. Terima kasih.
And thanks, welcome to Brother Raj. We will welcoming you for the next visiting again.
Dia sekjen.
Our General Secretary of Hikuba, Irwan dari Irwan.
Thanks Brother Raj. Kami dari Hikuba mengucapkan terima kasih. Setelah kami bergabung dengan Uni, kami banyak dilibatkan. Pertama Beli kemarin diundang ke Filipina, next Desember Nafa ke Malaysia. Youth.
Okay, youth. Yeah. Oh yes, we have a youth on 3, 4, 5, 3 days. Yeah, December. Okay.
Thanks to Brother Raj, since we are joining UniApro, we have a lot of activity, and especially when Sister Dwi invited by UniApro to Philippines, and the next project and the next program is for youth in Malaysia.
Dan kami juga mendapatkan banyak insight masukan dari Uni ketika kami dilibatkan dalam program organizer secara SBS itu bangunan program organizer, tapi kami mendapatkan ilmu baru ketika kami bergabung dengan Uni Global dengan Ibu Mikaela dan keluarga.
And thanks to Uni Global, we can organize more members, and we have new insight, new knowledge for Hikuba because of this project.
Mungkin saja Brother Mas, mungkin ke depannya berharap kami sebagai Hikuba afiliasi dengan Uni Global, ketika ada kegiatan di Apro kami siap menjadi tuan rumahnya. Itu Carlos dengan jajaran kalau itu jadi tuan rumah di Indonesia oleh Uni Global Apro, kami sangat siap. Terima kasih.
and thanks to Uni Global, we hope in the future, if Uni Apro have even in Indonesia, in Jakarta, we are ready to be a host in Jakarta. And once again, thank you, Uni Apro.
Thank you very much, Dr. General Secretary. Shall I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Selamat pagi, every one of you. Brother Carlos, our student name. Inuan. Brother Inuan, General Secretary of Likuba, and all sisters and brothers. First of all, good morning. It's still morning, I guess.
Yeah.
Good morning, and thank you very much for this meeting and devoting time for this very good meeting. So I will just give you some introduction of UNI, because since you are a new affiliate of UNI, it's good to know what UNI is, how we work, what are the sectors we represent, and all these things.
Terima kasih, selamat pagi teman-teman semua, sister and brother. Terima kasih atas meeting pada pagi hari ini. Saya hanya sedikit memberi introduksi saja, perkenalan terkait Uni Global, karena Likuba baru saja join dengan Uni Global. Saya memberi sedikit perkenalan perihal apa itu Uni Global, kemudian strukturnya seperti apa, dan lain-lain.
But before I introduce UNI, I want to introduce myself.
Sebelum saya memperkenalkan Uni Global, saya akan memperkenalkan diri saya sendiri dulu.
My name is Rajendra Kumar Achate, but don't call Kumar. Kumar means in my language is bachelor. I'm no more bachelor. I have a family. So I'm Rajendra Acharya, and it's very easy to call by my nickname called Raj.
Jadi nama saya Indra Kumar Acharya, tapi jangan panggil saya Kumar karena di bahasa saya Kumar itu artinya bachelor itu kayaknya single ya kalau nggak salah.
Tolong.
Jadi bisa panggil kan, dia udah nggak single lagi, dia udah married, nah jadi bisa panggil kalau
I'm no more single.
Yes.
Not available. Okay, but that was just fun. That's a joke. See, UNI is a global Indian federation. We created this federation in 2000, January 1st. Do you know what is January 1st? What is January 1st? Is the New Year Day. But January 1st, 2000 is not only New Year. It was the first day of new century and also a first day of new millennium. You know, 2000, January 1st, UNI was created. So it's a new millennium, it's a new trade union of a millennium. So that is what our slogan was when we created this.
Jadi Uni Global itu didirikan pada 1 Januari tahun 2000. Kalian tahu artinya apa? Artinya itu di 1 Januari itu kan itu hari yang baru, milenial yang baru juga karena 2000. Kemudian itu seperti slogan kami, yaitu presiden yang baru dan milenial kayak di tahun yang baru ada presiden yang baru dan supaya semakin inilah banyak sekali.
Okay, so it doesn't mean that we just are very new, 2000 to 2025, just 25 years. No, we already had 4 different global unions of around 100 years. Like one was Fiat for the finance sector, the commerce sector, securities, the property services and all. That was called Fiat, F-I-E-T, one global union. Then there was another global union called CI, Communication International. The postal workers, the telecommunication workers, IT workers would come into CI, Communication International. And the third global union was MEI, Media Entertainment International. Media, like radio, television, broadcasting industry, even film industry, the performance artists, actors, right, musicians and all these, they also had union. So that was called MEI, Media Entertainment International. And the fourth global union, it was IGF, International Graphical Printing Packaging International. So all the packaging company, printing industries, book binding, bookstores, all they were together, they had an IGF, International Graphical Workers Federation. So this 4 global union, Fiat, CI, MEI, and IGF, they merged and created Uni Global Union in January 1st, 2000.
Kita terkesan baru karena baru 5 tahun, tapi walaupun terbilang baru, tapi kami sudah memiliki 4 global union di dunia ini. Ada Viet, Fanta India, Eho, Tengo, FINT. Itu yang terdiri finance, services, pokoknya sektornya juga. Kemudian ada CI, Communication Internasional. Kemudian ada MIE, MEA. Kemudian ada IGV, kalau MEA tadi untuk media, terus IGV itu untuk global packaging, yang sektor-sektornya hanya di packaging saja, dan semua berarti itu 4 federasi di dalam Uniapro tergabung dan sudah berdiri sejak 1 Januari tahun 2000 itu.
Okay, so because of this merger, we have many sectors. You know, in global unions, they have certain sector. If you say ITF, it's just transport workers. If you say IUF, it's food and allied workers. If you say industrial, all the industries, the manufacturing, including mining and all. If you say, let's say, which one is the other one? Like IFJ is International Federation of Journalists. But in UNI, it's not specific one sector. There are many sectors, but particularly the services sector. So what are the services sector? Is commerce, which is biggest, that is retail. All the shop workers, the hypermarket workers, department stores, any shopping mall, everything it comes into commerce. And also those salespersons, you know, you have this water from company. When it is produced, it's a factory. But when it comes to a market, there are salespersons. Those are also commercial workers who sell, including the insurance policy sales. You know, the insurance agent, they sell their policies. It's all entire commercial activities we call it commerce sector. Similarly, we have care sector. Care is the health care. Private hospitals and aged care, disability care, any kind of care sector is care. There is 2 sectors. Then we have finance sector. The third one is that comes for banking and insurance. Banking, insurance, including the microfinances in the rural area, right? And also cooperative finances. There are a lot of cooperative, finance cooperative also. So they all come under finance sector. And see, Divi was there in the finance sector conference in Manila. And we also have another sector which is important one is ICT, Information Communication Technology and Telecom Services. So the telecom companies or all this, your Telecomcell or Indosat or XL Axiata or Smart Mobile, all these mobile companies, landline phone, mobile phone, even VoIP, the internet service provider, the IT workers, the call centers, the contact centers, software companies, even hardware companies also for that matter. So anything related to information, communication and technology services. Now even in Indonesia, I think there are video game workers. I will stop here. The video game workers also. So that also under ICTS. The 4 sectors I said, I will continue after I
Very, very low.
I think actually a lot of them
already know.
Yeah. But jadi seperti yang teman-teman tahu di dunia ini kan ada global union lain seperti IUF, ITF untuk transportasi, terus industri all yang isinya kebanyakan industri termasuk mining ada di dalam industri all. Nah kemudian kalau ini global itu isinya terdiri dari berbagai sektor. Walaupun leading sektornya utama tetap service and banking. Lalu kemudian tadi Bapak ini menceritakan tentang service tentang sektornya Uni Global yang khususnya di service center itu di service tidak hanya banking tapi ada retail, kemudian shopping mall termasuk pekerjaan-pekerjaan di dalam shopping mallnya, salespersonnya, marketingnya, kemudian termasuk juga agen asuransi juga masuk ke dalam Uni Global juga. Kemudian yang baru-baru ini bergabung ada healthcare, termasuk di dalamnya rumah sakit swasta yang mengurusi masalah healthcare seperti asuransi hari tua. Lalu di dalam finance sector sendiri ada juga microfinance di rural area, maksudnya itu kayaknya seperti koperasi yang ada di daerah-daerah, koperasi kecil. Itu juga bisa masuk ke dalam Uni Global juga. Lalu ICT, lalu di Uni Global sendiri kan tadi ada sektor ICT-nya, yaitu informasi komunikasi dan teknologi. Itu tadi dijelaskan XL, Telkom dan segala macam provider di Indonesia itu bisa bergabung di Uni Global juga. Lalu setelah itu ada yang membuat video game, itu juga bisa bergabung di Uni Global.
Now I will be a little brief now. So the other one where you are there, graphical and packaging, that is also under uni. So what is graphical and packaging is newspaper industries, printing, packaging like Emco, Kimberly Clark, you have Tetra Pak, big packaging factories. So this is packaging. You know, this is packaging. This is packaging. So there's tissue papers. You have this. This is packaging. So this is all packaging industry also, one of our sector. And similarly, property services that you are active, the ISS, G4S, any security company or cleaning companies, that is also in uni. And also another important one I just wanted to share with you is postal and logistics. The postal office, which is a government sector, but there are logistic companies like DHL, the courier companies, that is also uni.
Jadi tadi juga disebutkan ada industri, ada sektor yang terdiri dari packaging industri, yaitu IGV. Nah, packaging industri ini termasuk di dalamnya yang membuat tisu, terus kotak-kotak seperti WC seperti ini, terus pembungkus aqua. Lalu selain itu ada juga yang bisa masuk dalam ini juga ada kurir pengantaran. Tapi Paras tahu bahwa pos Indonesia itu kan dari government ya, BUMN, mungkin agak sulit. Jadi, tapi kurir-kurir yang lain juga bisa masuk ke dalam Uni Global seperti JNT, JNE dan sebagainya.
Okay, so these are the sectors that we have, and we have around 20 million members throughout the world. We have 20 million members, 900 plus affiliates. One of them is Nikuba, right? And then 900 plus members in 160 countries. 160.
Jadi Uni Global itu punya 20 juta anggota, terus kurang lebih 900 member. 900 member maksudnya bukan personnya tapi organisasinya yang di dalam Uni Global. Kemudian ada di 160 negara di dunia.
And our head office is in Switzerland, a place called Nyon near Geneva. Brother Carlos has visited the office. You've been there, right? Our head office is in Switzerland, and it has 4 regional offices for 4 regions.
Jadi head office kami ada di Swiss dan Bapak Carlos sudah pernah mengunjungi di sana. Kemudian kami memiliki 4 regional office.
So this Nyon office in Switzerland is a global headquarters. And there are 4 regional headquarters. One for Europe, it's in Brussels, Belgium. For Americas, North America, South America together, we have in Uruguay, okay, in Montevideo. Then for Africa, our regional office is in South Africa, Johannesburg. And for Asia and Pacific, our regional Asia Pacific headquarters is in Singapore.
Jadi 4 kantor regional kami itu ada di Brussels untuk Eropa, kemudian ada di Uruguay untuk Amerika, lalu ada di Afrika Selatan di kotanya Johannesburg itu untuk Afrika, kemudian untuk Asia Pasifik sendiri berkantor di Singapura. Nah kalau Swiss itu headquarternya atau head office-nya dari 4 regional.
Okay. So that is our structure. Okay. So in terms of the structure, maybe I will be a little brief. So what I see is in Nikuba, when we started, I just want to give a background. Maybe Carlos knows, and also you might also be knowing. When Nikuba, the SDSI, became a member of ITUC. Earlier, it was ICSDU. your confederation was not member in ICFTU. After it was ITUC created, SBSI also became a member in ITUC. So that time, UNI should be accepting Nikuba also as a member. But for some reason, they were delayed. And in 2018, I had a meeting with Brother Carlos in Bangkok, where we discussed and we agreed we will welcome Nikuba.
Jadi seperti yang kita tahu PSBC itu kan berafiliasi ke ITUC. Kemudian Nikuba sendiri saat itu masih dalam proses pendingnya, proses masuk ke uni global. Lalu pada tahun 2018 saya dan Bapak Carlos melakukan meeting di Bangkok.
And that was in 2018, and I was elected as the regional general secretary for UNESCO in 2019. Then I wanted to approach him again, but what happened? In 2020, beginning of 2020, we started COVID. For 3 years, we were all locked down. Neither we can travel, nothing. So it's all locked down.
Kemudian pada tahun 2018 ini, 2019 saya terpilih dan sebagai general secretary. Kemudian saya menghubungi, berusaha mengontak lagi Bapak Carlos. Lalu ketika itu sudah mulai menjalin komunikasi, terjadilah COVID di awal tahun 2020. Lalu selama 3 tahun kita lockdown dan
Then we started the process immediately after COVID. Michaela and all the delegation came. We had a discussion in 2013. Then they applied for affiliation in last year, in 2024. The application received, we approved, and this year, 2025 onward, they are the member. You are the member of UNI Global Union now.
kemudian kita mulai lagi setelah COVID dan berdiskusi lagi. Kemudian di tahun 2024 Bapak Carlos mencoba apply dan sudah kami atur juga sehingga akhirnya di tahun ini 2025 dibuka bergabung menjadi anggota UNI Global.
Okay, so I just want to focus now for activities. Now I think you have participated in some of our activities. We had a graphical and packaging conference in June. Some of your friends from the printing union attended our conference in Jakarta in the month of June. I don't know his name. There were 2 brothers in the packaging. You were there? Okay. Oh, right. Okay, good. So that was the first event. Then other than that, Sister Divi was there in our finance conference. And we will have a youth. You are going for youth? Okay, so we will have a youth meeting in Kuala Lumpur. But next year we are having a youth conference also in Bangkok. We are having a world youth conference. All the youth groups throughout the world, there's 160 countries will come in Bangkok. We are having a world conference of youth members in Bangkok. So that will be next year. And then I think you are also actively participating in our Equal Opportunity Project, in mentoring program. Any one of you in the mentoring?
Yeah.
Women mentoring program?
Yeah.
Okay. So one phase we have already done. In December we will be doing another round.
Yeah.
Veronica and Martha are coming for that mentoring program. That's also another project we are doing. And of course for property services, you are doing with ISS and G4S. Sorry, again no.
Seperti yang kita ketahui, waktu lalu sudah ada konvensi tentang graphical and packaging, grafis dan kemasan pada bulan Juni. Itu adalah first event Nikuba bersama dengan UNI Global yang sudah dihadiri oleh 2 orang perwakilan laki-laki kalau tidak salah dari Nikuba. Kemudian waktu tempoh hari sudah ada finance conference juga yang dihadiri oleh Mbak Dubi. Lalu ada berikutnya youth conference di Malaysia ya. Kemudian di tahun depan akan ada youth conference lagi dan ini lebih besar, dari 160 negara bisa dibilang akan hadir di Bangkok di tahun depan. Lalu berikutnya waktu itu sudah ada juga metode program, tapi kalau saya tidak salah mengartikan akan ada lagi metode program untuk kedepannya, dan saat itu sudah Mbak Dwi juga sudah ikuti metode programnya.
Okay. Good. So that is just to inform what we are doing, what we want to do. Other than that, what I wanted to say to Nekuba is, you are not only in the ESS or security. You have to see what other sector in uni you want to work in organizing. Especially we are interested in organizing, union development and union building, and capacity building of union in those sectors. And what we are interested with Nekuba is maybe graphical and packaging, you can do some more work. Also in the finance sector. So in finance sector from Indonesia, we only invited Nekuba. We didn't invite other union. You were the only in finance sector. Because finance sector, the other unions are also don't have much member. I think Nekuba can organize finance sector. So we would like to work with you for finance sector.
Jadi untuk Nekuba, ISS politik itu kalau bisa tidak hanya mengorganisasi politik saja, tapi bisa dikembangkan lagi untuk organisasi yang lain. Dan untuk Nekuba kan sudah ada anggota di graphical packaging. Terus kemudian saya juga tahu bahwa sektor keuangan di Indonesia ini tidak memiliki banyak anggota. Dan yang saya tahu adalah hanya Nekuba saja yang anggotanya di sektor keuangan dan perbankan itu cukup banyak dibanding sektor lain di Indonesia. Makanya disitulah saya merasa Nekuba bisa melit kegiatan-kegiatan ke depannya.
Okay, I think I should stop here. Otherwise, it's too much for her, and I forget stopping in between. No, I go long. So maybe if there are any questions, you can ask.
Jadi kalau teman-teman ada pertanyaan, bisa silakan ditanyakan.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for time for me. My name is Denny from ISS Indonesia. I use translate in Google, okay? Because I just little I can speak it. I have concern regarding the new world order in 2030. Namely the era of digitalization and automatization, robotic, where unless wave of layout is threatening water. What is your perspective on facing this era, especially the ISS business in manpower supply? Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, please.
Jadi Pak Dedi tadi menanyakan tentang digitalisasi dan robotik, karena kita sudah memasuki era digitalisasi dan robotik. Satu sisi ISS itu kan banyak menggunakan jasa gitu, memakai
Suplai tenaga kerja.
Terus gimana, apa pandangan Pak itu terkait era digitalisasi itu?
No, it's a big question now. Maybe if you have heard about just transition, there are two components of just transition. One is climate component, because climate change is taking place. That is also impacting workers, especially in the mining and all. The other transition is the digital transition. For me, the climate transition is vertical. It goes deeper. Wherever it impacts, it impacts very deep. But digital transition, or digital transformation is horizontal. It will affect every worker. Banking sector, you go, now it's no more in the front line. In Singapore, I try to open a bank account. Everything has to be done by digital. You go to the front office, nobody there, only machine. You cannot speak to machine. So this is what happening. But what the union have done is, like for example in Singapore, the bank union, they have negotiated with the employer not to part the job. So that those people working in the front line, in the tellers and the counters, now they have working in the back office. going to the marketing, promotion activities of the banking product and all this. So this is how it was possible, because the union should negotiate with the employer. So what brother has asked is, in ESS or any other company, to confront the challenge of digitalization, we must have to have a seat on the table. Meaning, if your company is going through a digitalization, they must consult with the trade union. If your government is doing a massive digitalization in any sector, they must talk to the national centers like SBSI and others, the tripartite bodies. So that is the only mechanism. We cannot stop digitalization. We cannot say no more. I come from the banking union. I used to work in a bank. So when I was very young union activist in my bank, there was a very radical union leader. You know what he did during the computerization time? He took a computer and threw it on the street, saying that we don't want computer in the bank. But is it possible? Not possible. We cannot stop digitalization. We cannot stop automation. But what we can stop is the automation should not cut the job. Okay? So automation should help workers in terms of increasing the efficiency, in terms of reducing the occupational health and safety risk, in terms of increasing the productivity, and the productivity should be shared to the workers also. So that is possible when we have a dialogue with the employer. And when we can have a dialogue? When we have a power, when we have membership. You can negotiate with ISS. Because you have a members, you have 7, 8, 10,000 members come together, they have to negotiate. But if a company is not unionized, the workers don't have union, employer will just do whatever they want. So for us, that is on the ground level. But in the regional or global level, what UNI is doing, sorry, I will go a little further. So what UNI has to do in a global level is we are also talking with all the agencies, international agencies. The role of national union and the global union. We as a global union, we have to deal with the global companies, global organizations, the WTO, the World Bank, IMF, and all these. They are the ones injecting. They are asking government, oh, you privatize, you automatize, you digitalize. So we need to negotiate from the global level. You need to negotiate from the local level. And SBSI need to negotiate in the national level. So that is how we have to do together. So that would be my response. I don't know whether I responded to your question.
Jadi jika teman-teman pernah mendengar tentang jam transisi, di situ ada climate change juga, kemudian ada juga digital transformation. Nah, hal ini tentang digital transformation ini berdampak secara vertikal maupun horizontal. Kalau vertikal itu dia semakin yang dari atas ke bawah, dia semakin bisa terjadi semakin dalam. Kemudian untuk vertikalnya itu terkait digital transformation itu juga bisa terjadi kepada sektor seperti ini, kepada sektor-sektor yang serumpun lah gitu. Kemudian semua dilakukan dengan kalau di Singapura sendiri, karena Bapak ini juga pengalamannya, dia dari sektor perbankan. Di Singapura mereka melakukan negosiasi dengan kantor atau perusahaan dan meminta mereka mempekerjakan kembali tapi di balik layar. Kalau kita lihat seperti pengalaman Pak Raj, bahwa dia mau buka m-banking aja kan itu semua dilakukan secara digital menggunakan handphone gitu kan. Jadi ya udah kita negosiasi supaya pekerja tersebut yang tadinya di front office dijadikan dipekerjakan kembali di balik layar di kantornya lah gitu. Kemudian kita harus bisa fight, harus bisa melakukan dialog sosial dengan perusahaan. Apa kuncinya kita melakukan dialog? Yaitu pertama kita harus punya kekuatan, power. Kemudian juga kita harus punya member. Untuk ISS sendiri, saya tahu bahwa ISS sudah punya keduanya. Tinggal bagaimana ISS melakukan dialog dengan manajemen. Kalaupun selain dialog dengan manajemen, Inkubasi sendiri juga bisa melakukan kerjasama dengan di tingkat kooperatif untuk mendorong hal tersebut. Kemudian kita juga nggak bisa memberhentikan transformasi digital ini ataupun just transisi. Yang bisa kita lakukan adalah bagaimana kita mengelaborasi just transisi ini agar agar otomatisasi dan transformasi digital ini dapat meningkatkan produktivitas pekerja dan membantu pekerja juga serta meningkatkan perihal ketiganya. Kemudian apabila ada perusahaan yang tidak ada serikat itu akan sulit untuk melakukan dialog karena seperti yang tadi dibilang salah satu kuncinya adalah anggota. Lalu Uni Global sendiri sudah bekerja sama dengan agen internasional seperti IMF. Kemudian yang Bapak ini tahu juga Nikuba dan KSBC itu kan sudah banyak melakukan dialog sosial baik itu di tingkat lokal maupun di tingkat nasional. Kemudian kita juga perlu melakukan dialog-dialog di tingkat global, di tingkat internasional. Dan kita harus melakukan dialog tersebut secara bersama-sama.
And also for you, I can provide to Nikuba, we have guidelines. We have prepared a workers' guideline, a trade union guideline on digitalization. We have a guideline on teleworking, the work from home. In many cases, there's a work from home also. We have guideline on robotization. You see in cleaning, go to Jakarta airport now, all the robots there. Your airport is so clean now. Very shiny, no? The floor is shining because it's cleaned by the robots. So it's not a robot. What is that? It means the job of the workers will be reduced. So there has to be a plan. We cannot stop that. We cannot stop, but we have to have an alternative plan. That is what we call a transition. From here to there. So the transition. This transition has to be just transition. So justice should be there in transition. You cannot throw workers on the road, right? You have to give them a place to work.
Uni Global sendiri kita sudah memiliki guideline perihal just transisi, misalnya seperti melakukan pekerjaan dari rumah, pokoknya hal-hal yang bisa dilakukan dari rumah mungkin bisa diadaptasi untuk WFH. Kemudian seperti salah satu contoh yang sudah saya lihat di Indonesia terkait robotik itu dilakukan ada di airport di Bandara Soekarno-Hatta, itu lantainya sangat-sangat bersih, sangat licin sekali, sangat apa ya, ibaratnya mungkin bisa ngaca lah. Karena itu sudah dilakukan oleh robot-robot pembersih. Kemudian untuk terkait perubahan iklim ini, jasa ini memang tidak bisa kita hentikan, tapi kita perlu menyiapkan juga rencana-rencana alternatif terkait jasa ini.
So maybe I ask something. Yeah. Okay. So now ESS is there. We have. So how about the local companies? There are also many local companies in the cleaning. Very much a competitor.
Yes.
And they are not unionized.
Just ISS.
They are unionized.
Jadi Bapak ini nanya di ISS di sana ada perusahaan-perusahaan lokal lainnya enggak?
Banyak.
Banyak.
Very much competitor with ISS in this one business.
Okay.
Tapi kompetitornya itu apakah punya serikat atau enggak?
Oke. Jadi secara bisnis memang banyak pelaku bisnis yang curang, fraud dan bisnis. Ditambah lagi pengawas ketenagaan kerja ini kan memang lemah. Jadi seperti di market cap-nya bisnis ini nggak sehat untuk bersaing.
So actually lot of competitors other than ESS, but they don't have union because of the business owner is cheating, yeah, and then
They don't want union.
Yeah,
Normally
they
don't want
don't.
union. Because our project is to increase the wages of the cleaning workers. So ESS is interested. If we organize those private, then they will also do a collective agreement, collective bargaining, and their wages will go. If the competitors' wages will go, then your ESS company will also increase the wages. If the local competitor don't pay more to the worker, and ESS will say, hey, you asking me only give this much money? See, the other company is giving just 10,000 rupiah. Huh? And you asking me 20,000 rupiah. Why? So, it is important for us to organize the unorganized. Yeah.
Jadi inti dari proyeknya Bapak ini kan meningkatkan upah ya.
Ya.
Jadi mungkin ketika upahnya ISS naik, bisa jadi pekerja-pekerja di perusahaan lain pun juga tertarik gitu. Terus kemudian itulah kenapa kita pentingnya mengorganisir perusahaan yang belum terorganisir.
Bisa ada lagi kan?
Cukup saya satu
You can sit down, no problem.
Ya, Mr. I'm security, saya security. Dulu ISS itu pernah punya security 12.000. Dan karena persaingan dengan outsourcing yang lain, karena tidak adanya standar gaji, ya mereka lebih memilih pindah dari ISS karena lebih murah. Jadi kami apa sih bahasanya persaingannya ini jadi nggak ini ya. Terus
Sekarang dari berapa tadi juga sih?
udah 4.000 terus yang beranggota di Kuba 1.700-an. Jadi karena rata-rata itu kita berkurang karena putus kontrak karena harganya yang ditawarkan outsourcing lain. Terus outsourcing lain-lain ini belum punya serikat, jadi nggak ada yang ngekam di ini. Apa bahasanya supaya ini dari Uni ada ininya enggak?
Ada
Solusi.
Formula untuk bisa membuat supaya security itu ada standar gajinya sehingga PT perusahaan-perusahaan lain nggak bisa jual murah.
Jadi dia pindah karena perusahaan lainnya
begini.
Jadi kliennya lebih murah karena secara regulasinya nggak terpenuhi.
Long time ago we have workers, only security workers in ISS is 12,000 workers, but now only 4,000
Because of
workers.
outsourcing.
Yes, and a lot of them left because they moved to other company, other outsourcing, because of the business owner is like they don't have standard for wages in ISS, and also because of the business owner, the other business owner is like and a lot of ISS workers they don't sign any contract anymore to ISS, and can Uni Global make in ISS, especially in security services, have like standard for wages.
Okay. So, see how it works in outsourcing. We have some good examples in some countries. Okay. Suppose if you have a strong union, the union will negotiate with your employer. Like ESS is a supplier company, right? It's not only with the supplier. If your union is strong, they will negotiate with the principal employer. So who is the principal employer? For example, ESS is sending security workers to BRI Bank, Bank Mandiri for that matter. Okay? So who is the principal employer? Principal employer is the bank. ESS is a supplying company. So union will negotiate with both. Okay? And that bank, suppose Bank Mandiri or BRI Bank, the supply agreement is for 2 years. The agreement will finish, then they will be retender, rebidding, right? And during the rebidding time, maybe the next bidding will not come to ESS, maybe go to other companies, small local company, because they pay low price, less price, they get the business. Okay? Then what happened to the workers for ESS? They don't get job. And ESS says, I have no place for you to put. You just go home. So what the strong union do, we have that unions in different countries, what they do is, okay, they tell to the bank, that is called the principal employer. The principal employer can change the contract with the supplier, but cannot replace the worker. So today, I am a ISS worker, security provider in Bank Mandiri. After 2 years, the ESS contract is finished. There is another company, maybe BSS. So that gets the business, but I still have a job there. The only thing is I change my dish from ESS to BSS. But my job is there, my same wages, even more, right? So that is what the agreement they have done in many countries. I don't know whether it is possible here. So that is what we want the union to have a power. Be organized, be strong. Not only negotiate with your company, the supplying company, also negotiate with the principal employer. Tell the principal employer there are guidelines. We can provide you guidelines. The responsibility of the principal employer, we have that guidelines. We negotiate in the global level. We telling them, hey, you are the principal employer, you cannot be the exploiter. You shouldn't be doing this. You cannot go beyond the minimum wages. You cannot go beyond the labor standard. You must respect. In the name of your procurement policy, you cannot hire workers on a cheap rate. So the rate has to be there, the standard has to be there. So there are principles. We work on those principles. Okay. But for that again, it needs all together. We work in a global level. You have to work in a national level with the national centers like SBSI. They have to, because bank will not entertain you. Bank will say, oh, I don't know, you are not my staff, you are not my worker. You are the worker of the supplying company, not my worker. Why do I talk to you? But the SBSI goes, hey, you can't say this because they talk to the government. Your confederation talk to the government. Hey, in BRI or Bank Mandiri, your company is saying this, you cannot do that. So MOM, talk to the finance ministry or the whatever related ministry. They say, oh, this is the national law. We cannot go against this law. So that is how it works. Global, national, and the local. In the local level, you must have a power. If you have power, then the SBSI or NICUBA can help you. If you are so weak, NICUBA say, okay, brother, we will see you tomorrow. That's why power is important. In every level, power is important. Power comes from the unity, from more members. Sorry again. But they understand it. I know they understand. You understood, right? What I said? Yeah.
Jadi jawabannya, Bapak ini memberi contoh di banyak negara hal yang dilakukan. Jika kita punya serikat buruh yang kuat, kita bisa bernegosiasi dengan principal employer. Maksudnya principal employer itu adalah klien dari outsourcing ini kan. Contohnya Bank Mandiri tadi disebutkan. Misalnya ISS bisa bernegosiasi dengan dua-duanya, tapi tidak serta-merta hanya ISS sendiri. Misal ISS negosiasi dulu dengan Bank Mandirinya, si pemberi kerjanya, seperti itu. Kemudian negosiasi terkait perjanjiannya itu isinya. Lalu kalau Bank Mandirinya itu bilang bahwa kalian kan bukan anggota saya, kalian kan bukan kerja saya, kalian kan dikontrak oleh ISS gitu. Nah, disitulah nanti NICUBA dan KSBSI akan bekerja. Kemudian principal employer dalam hal misalkan contohnya Bank Mandiri dapat mengubah kontrak, karena kan dia yang memberi kerjanya kan. Kemudian dia dapat mengubah kontrak tanpa harus mengganti pekerjaannya. Lalu pekerja tersebut tetap punya pekerjaan dan perjanjiannya dan di banyak negara sendiri itu sudah terjadi, sudah dilakukan dan banyak yang berhasil. Kemudian serikat Nikuba sendiri di ISS harus kuat dan harus terorganisir. Lalu Uni Global sendiri punya guideline terkait pertanggungjawaban terhadap prinsipal employers ini. Lalu untuk Nikubanya sendiri di tingkat TPP, di tingkat nasional, Nikuba dan bersama dengan PSBC bisa berdialog dengan atau bernegosiasi dengan pemerintah atau kementerian-kementerian yang terkait perihal hal ini. Lalu memberitahukan bahwa misalkan Bank Mandiri mempekerjakan di bawah gaji di bawah standar atau hal-hal lainnya yang perlu diberitahu apa yang terjadi terhadap pekerja tersebut. Kemudian itulah kenapa pentingnya ISS memiliki serikat yang kuat di dalamnya, termasuk dorongan juga dari DPP Nikuba dan PSBC.
Terima kasih. Pertama-tama perkenalkan nama saya Dewi. Dan kita mungkin sudah 2 kali ini lah saya bertemu sama Brother. Kebetulan di bulan Juni di konferensi PPG mungkin saya akan coba mengutarakan terkait permasalahan yang ada di dunia percetakan. Saat ini memang semakin cepatnya teknologi yang tadi Brother bilang terkait untuk kerja perbankan memang bisa untuk dikerjakan mungkin di belakang layar. Tapi kalau untuk di percetakan semakin cepatnya teknologi terus meningkat gitu. Ya jujur dunia percetakan di Indonesia itu percetakan terutama percetakan besar itu hampir seluruhnya tutup dan itu si pekerja sudah tidak bisa lagi kita untuk usahakan mereka untuk bekerja di belakang layar gitu kan. Permasalahan di dunia percetakan di kita ini di Indonesia ini banyak juga pesaing kita adalah percetakan kecil, Brother. Itu yang jadi permasalahan. Jadi percetakan atau perusahaan yang besar itu mereka tutup bukan hanya juga karena teknologi, tapi adanya banyaknya timbul atau menjamurnya percetakan kecil yang notabene mereka hanya mempekerjakan 5 maksimal 10 orang, mereka bisa operasional. Sedangkan untuk yang percetakan besar, terutama untuk printing, mungkin kalau sekelas packaging masih bisa bertahan kalau di kita. Untuk printing, hampir rata-rata mereka tergerus sama teknologi dan percetakan kecil. Nah, kesulitan kita adalah di serikat buruh. Di saat kita untuk bagaimana kita mengorganisir atau merekrut mereka yang notabene upah mereka itu kecil, rendah, tetapi mereka tidak mau dan selalu mereka tolak. Ya, kalau kami upahnya besar, perusahaan kami akan tutup. Karena perusahaan kami adalah perusahaan kecil, Pak. Itu alasan mereka. Yang mungkin saya sepengalaman Brother, kalau untuk di luar selain di Indonesia, apa sih sepengalaman Brother untuk bagaimana kita serikat buruh ini, terutama kita untuk merekrut pekerja-pekerja printing ini yang kalau dibilang di kita ya timbulan yang namanya UMKM itu, yang sebenarnya kalau menurut kami UMKM ya merusak lah gitu kan untuk standar upah, terutama juga anggota kami yang di retail banyaknya
sekarang penjualan online secara UMKM pribadi gitu kan, akhirnya hampir rata-rata juga tutup gitu kan. Nah, terutama juga percetakan. Saat ini packaging pun yang notabene perusahaan besar packaging lambat laun di Indonesia akan tergerus. Karena apa? Contoh seperti ini bisa dikerjakan oleh percetakan kecil yang karyawannya hanya 5 dan maksimal itu 10, dan notabene mereka upahnya di bawah market value. Nah, sepengalaman brother di luar di Indonesia, apa sih solusi untuk kita juga bisa mengorganisir kawan-kawan yang di perusahaan yang bekerja di perusahaan kecil. Ini kan
regarding the problem is printing, but first of all, I am Norwegian. I want to ask about the problem in printing. Now technology is increasing, enabling baby boomers to be employed behind the screen, but it's not working in printing sector, because printing and packaging sector is different, and including large printing companies. And a lot of large printing companies in Indonesia almost all closed, and we find it difficult to negotiate to rehiring the workers. And our competitor are also small printing companies, which is only have 5 until 10 people, 5 until 10 workers. Meanwhile, large printing companies, especially printing companies, are generally being displaced by technology. Our difficulty as a labor union is there in other country that we as union can recruit small scale printing workers, especially our members in packaging and printing. And then what are some tips for organizing the small scale printing companies?
I think it's we have to see in a different in our graphical and packaging there are 4 sub-sectors. One is newspaper. Now newspaper is going down because how many of you read newspaper every morning? Nobody. Every news is in the mobile. So with that, who is impacting? The newspaper printing workers are losing jobs. Okay, newspaper is going down. Then the other printing is commercial printing. Like those days, printing calendars, printing books and all this, that is also going digitalized. Now there are e-books, electronic books. People read electronic books. The book printing, the journal printing also going down. Then the third component which is going up is packaging. You know, packaging is going up, especially during COVID. Because of the sanitation, because of the cleanliness, because of the people's awareness to be clean. Every time, earlier my father used to do like this. Now, at least my generation or my children's generation will look for tissue paper to wipe their hands. So there is the awareness is increasing. It's not only awareness. You see, it goes with the economy. Now, Indonesia economy is rising. You are now an emerging economy, world's one of the increasing largest economy. So when economy rises, the people's purchasing power also goes up. So what does that mean, purchasing power goes up? Means you were using a small cheap soap to wash your hand, now you have a nice soap, Dettol or maybe like Dove or whatever. So every consumer behavior is changing. So this packaging goes with the consumer behavior. Those days in office there's no tissue paper thing. Now you go to the washroom, outside is like a machine, you know? Just you can take the tissue paper. So this is what packaging is growing. So our target is basically focusing on the packaging. But packaging also there are a lot of changes. In COVID time it went down. And what is the other reason packaging is increasing? Because of the e-commerce. Now you ask for delivery. So delivery, it doesn't come in a plastic bag now. Those days, small plastic bag, they will give you a milk, they will give you a pouch of something or any food or anything, gado in this thing. But now it comes in a packaging, because of the e-commerce. Everything you ask, you do online shopping and things will come in a packaging. That's how packaging sector is growing. But printing sector is going down, there's no doubt. Coming to your question, whether we can organize small printers or not, less than 10 workers. Yes, we can. We can organize, we will support you. We have a project. We are starting a project from January next year. Okay? And Nikuba is also one of the targets. On December 9th, there will be a project meeting. Our friend who is in charge of packaging sector, Obik, last time we met, right, in the conference. Obik is coming. We will have a meeting. We want to work with you, with Nikuba, on organizing the packaging and printing sector. If you have a plan, you want to organize a small printing company, maybe in small printing company, you cannot form an enterprise union. You cannot form a plant union, but they can be a member of the federation. So Nikuba Printing Federation or something you can create. You can directly make a membership of Nikuba, right? So there can be that structure. We apply that structure, and we can organize. It is not only that you have to have a membership in EMCO, Kimberly-Clark, or Songtex, or Tetra Pak. No, you also can organize the small printing companies, the small publishing companies if there are, and also it also includes the fourth segment in the printing. I said newspaper, general printing, packaging, and the fourth one is digital printing. Now everything is digital printing. So this digital printing also in our graphical and packaging, like the flex making and all these things, all going digital printing. That also comes under us. So computer graphic designers, use growth in computer graphic designers. The printing workers has gone down, the graphic designers has gone up. So we can organize graphic designers, right? So digital printing workers.
Di Global sendiri kan tadi kan sudah ada empat sektor. Nah dari 4 sektor itu terdiri lagi dari 4 subsektor. 4 subsektor itu diantaranya ada koran yang sekarang memang sudah nggak ada lagi, sudah jarang ada koran lagi sehingga pekerjanya pun kehilangan pekerjaan. Kemudian ada juga komersial printing. Komersial printing itu seperti e-books, buku-buku, majalah, buku bacaan, dan yang sekarang sudah menjadi e-books juga di HP. Kemudian 2 subsektor itu kan yang sudah mulai kehilangan lah, mulai ada lagi. Lalu semua ini terjadi karena adanya kebiasaan konsumen. Jadi kebiasaan konsumen itu membentuk ekonomi sendiri gitu. Jadi terbentuklah ada perubahan-perubahan. Lalu untuk di sektor packaging sendiri, karena makin kesini awareness terjadinya peningkatan kesadaran terkait kebersihan, terkait contohnya tadi Pak Alex bilang di zaman saya mungkin pekerja-pekerja di sektor packaging itu kalau mau bersihin sesuatu pakai tangan itu mungkin cuma dilapor doang di baju. Tapi kalau untuk di zamannya asalnya Pak Alex gitu kan, di generasi milenial atau mungkin Gen Z mungkin awareness-nya itu udah berubah. Jadi kalau mereka merasa tangannya kotor pasti nyarinya tisu gitu kan, terbentuk karena kebiasaan. Kemudian lalu ketika COVID menerjang beberapa tahun lalu, terbentuklah ada e-commerce kan, dan dari e-commerce pun juga muncullah ada delivery pengantaran paket atau makanan. Kemudian untuk packaging sendiri kan sekarang juga sudah ada seperti plastik, kantong-kantong plastik ataupun packaging yang dijual di e-commerce gitu. Dan kita bisa mengorganisir kurang dari 10 orang, dan kita punya proyek untuk mengorganisir itu di tahun depan mulai dari Januari. Lalu kedepannya kita mungkin akan rapat, dan jika Bank Indo ini sendiri punya rencana untuk merekrut yang belum terorganisir yang skala kecil ini yang kurang dari 10 orang satu percetakan, mungkin bisa melalui proyek ini juga. Kalau saran Bapak sendiri, mungkin di Kuba kedepannya bisa membentuk satu subsektor seperti di Global sendiri. Jadi ada beberapa perusahaan-perusahaan kecil yang skalanya kurang dari 10 orang, tapi mereka untuk membentuk PK itu nggak mau atau mungkin sulit. Jadi mereka bisa digabung di dalam satu subsektor, yaitu mungkin namanya bisa jadi small printing companies atau semacamnya gitu. Dan sekarang karena peningkatan, karena pekerja-pekerja desain grafis sudah semakin banyak, itu juga bisa direkrut dan bisa juga dibentuk menjadi satu subsektor gitu. Jadi mereka tetap ada wadahnya lah gitu, walaupun mereka nggak ada PK, tapi mereka tetap bisa gabung dengan Ekuba gitu.
Ini tadi
Thank you very much. I really like it's very interactive. Yes. Maybe if you have any questions later, you can just send by email also. No problem. I email it with Brother Carlos. And there are meetings coming up in December, so please attend them. Some of the meetings are small meetings to be attended by the leaders, but some of the events are more like we are asking more participants, like for mentoring, women mentoring. We have 2 activities.
Kita punya 2 aktivitas lagi. Jadi mungkin di bulan Desember akan ada meeting, tapi mungkin di bulan Desember meetingnya hanya dihadiri oleh pemimpin federasinya. Lalu aktivitas lainnya juga ada mentoring, tapi akan ada juga seminar yang bisa dihadiri oleh teman-teman yang lain.
Oke ya. Ya. Baik, terima kasih teman-teman sekalian. Nah, mungkin hari ini juga Brother Raj sudah mendapatkan sedikit ini ya, pandangan ya, bahwa mungkin juga konteks Indonesia hari ini begitu juga di negara-negara yang lain berkaitan dengan just transisi, berkaitan dengan transformasi ekonomi dan yang lain, digitalisasi. Nah, ini hari ini memang sektor kita ini, sektor digital ini mengalami sangat-sangat sulit ya. Dari Brother Raj sudah menyatakan bahwa orang kita itu jarang sekarang ke bank ya. Saya sendiri sudah berapa tahun ke bank karena sekarang sudah online. Begitu juga dengan belanja kita sekarang online dan yang lain-lain, terutama printing yang sangat terdampak itu juga berlaku di negara lain. Jadi sehingga memang sektor kita ini ya butuh support dari global. Bagaimana kita kembali lagi merekrut orang-orang yang bekerja di sektor kita, walaupun tantangannya pasti tidak sama dengan tantangan yang beberapa tahun yang lalu ya, mungkin 20 tahun yang lalu tantangannya akan berbeda dengan hari ini. Bang, terjemahkan guys.
Okay, past these few years, Kuba have lot of changing regarding the because now we have like online banking. Especially me, I don't tend to bank anymore since we have banking. I don't know how many years. And printing in printing sector, of course, we have decreasing numbers in printing, and we need support from Global.
Ya, jadi setelah kita bergabung di Global, tadi saya sudah katakan bahwa tahun ini November kita sudah mulai mengorganize di sektor cleaning dan security. Dan tahun depan kemungkinan kita juga akan melakukan hal yang sama di sektor packaging dan mungkin di hal-hal lain. Inilah memang yang kita butuhkan, terutama di Kuba, untuk bagaimana juga merekrut lagi anggota-anggota yang baru di sektor yang dalam tanda kutip, ada bahasa Inggris hilang. Asuransi juga seperti itu.
After we are joining to Uni Global and we already start from this year, we already organize in cleaning and security sector. And for next year, we try to organize it in packaging sector, packaging and design sector. And this is like a challenging to Uniba because there are some sector that already like going down.
Ya, di sektor cleaning dan security, terutama ISS ya, kami melihat ada peran di global di situ. Nah, tapi kami juga berharap di bisnis yang sama atau di sektor yang sama, di global juga sebisa mungkin melakukan yang namanya international framework agreement ya, seperti ISS dengan Uni Global sudah dilakukan. Kami harapannya karena ini adalah level internasional, kami berharap nanti suatu saat Uni Global memiliki international framework agreement dengan beberapa kompetitor ISS, terutama yang multinasional. Ada G4S, ada OCS, ada OSS. Ini yang ada di Indonesia ini ada 3 di luar ISS yang multinasional corporate, di mana tingkat kepatuhan itu sangat dipengaruhi oleh international framework agreement itu.
Our hope is that because this is an international level, which is global union, and we hope that Uni Global have an international framework agreement, especially for the multinational ones in Indonesia, because the level of compliance is very high. Brother Carlos said that they have four big competitors.
Yeah. So we have to try to have a similar agreement with the competing company also.
Ya, karena mungkin tidak hanya di Kuba, semua serikat buruh yang ada anggotanya di sektor ini, kami tidak bisa berharap banyak kepada pemerintah. Jadi kami harus mencari instrumen-instrumen yang lain, terutama yang internasional, agar supaya mereka kompetitor ini comply terhadap regulasi.
Because maybe not only in Cuba, but the other union in this sector, we cannot just talk to the government, but we need to solve on global level.
Ya. Jadi kawan-kawan sekalian, sekali lagi kita mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Brother Raj yang telah mengunjungi kantor kita. Inilah yang bisa kami lakukan untuk menyambut Brother Raj menjadi keluarga besar kami, keluarga besar di Kuba. Kami juga sudah menjadi keluarga besar Uni Global.
And from us, also from brother and sister, we thank to Brother Raj that this is what we can give to Uni Global and to Brother Raj.
Thank you very much. It was very, very lovely discussion. So I'm looking forward to have more interactions, right? There are a lot of uni activities these days. There are many in online also. We send invitation. If you can manage it, you can just attend. Sometimes physical activities are not much, but online activities we keep on doing. So all these issues we discuss in those meetings. So I'm looking forward to have your active participation. Yes. All the best. Terima kasih.
Jadi teman-teman, tadi Bapak Ras bilang bahwa untuk pertanyaan-pertanyaan ataupun isu yang didiskusikan tadi masih ada banyak dilakukan, dibicarakan di online. Memang aktivitas secara offline tidak terlalu banyak, tapi untuk online itu sudah banyak sekali dan mungkin bisa didiskusikan di online ini juga apabila ada kegiatan-kegiatan online berikutnya. Tentu saja mudah-mudahan.
Ya, jadi kawan-kawan sebelum pasca ini diakhiri, kita berfoto bersama dulu supaya ada dokumentasi.
Kuba, muda.